So when you see that you have goals and a marketing strategy, the first thing you want to do is what we call a SWOT analysis. So if you've never heard of a SWOT analysis, we go deep into that within the Branded Like a Leader course. Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what are some strengths that you can have? You can be authentic. You can have experience. You can also be gifted with the gift of gab and the ability to create a relationship with anyone, with a pure stranger. That's the ability to connect. A weakness. You might not be cash rich. You might not be cash flush. And so that would be referred to as liquid. That might be a weakness that you don't have multiple financial resources, or maybe social equity. Maybe you're just starting. So maybe you switched your brand. Maybe you're rebranding so you don't have social equity or social proof. Maybe nobody knows you right now. That's a weakness. So you've got to combat your weaknesses with your strengths. And then what are some opportunities that we have? Well, the last time I checked, Facebook was free. Twitter was free. YouTube was free. LinkedIn was free. So business media is free. What's another opportunity? There's more people on the internet than there ever was. What is another opportunity? COVID-19. People are, so let me say it like this. When people were getting their stimulus checks, it was not they weren't hard up for money because they had so much excess. So right now, people have excess of two things. Some have excess of money, some have excess of time. Either way, that's an opportunity for you because now they can hear you. Now they might be a little freed up. Tax time comes around, they might be a little bit freed up. So COVID-19 also put the air of uncertainty upon us. So people are looking at entrepreneurialism differently. Everybody's starting to think about starting a business. You're not the only one. You're no longer alone. You're no longer weird. Now they want to start a business. They just don't know how. So if you're able to market your product or your service the right way, you have an opportunity that was brought about by COVID-19. So in reality, some see it as a hindrance, some see it as a negative. Everything is perspective, guys. Entrepreneurs, we are masters of perspective. So it's all about the way that you view it. If you view it as an obstacle, that's what it will be. If you view it as an opportunity, that's what it will become. Threats. That's the last piece. So we got S, W, O, and then T. What are the threats? Competition and their budget could be a threat. The well-known people in your industry are spending $1,000 a day, $10,000 a week on Facebook ads, on Twitter ads, on YouTube ads, on campaigns, on Google. That's a threat. And then you got people's 3-second attention span. I said before, we live in a 3-second world because as soon as you start, people stop. As soon as they meet eyes with you and stop somewhere and you open your mouth, they pull out their phone. They can't hold their attention. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You have to become a master of influence. You have to become a master of persuasion and a master of, write this down, attention retention. You have to learn how to become a master of attention retention. How do you hold on to people's attention? Let me tell you something. The most expensive commodity right now is people's attention. Nobody can focus. Everyone is distracted by 2020, who they lost, what they lost. 2021, what they think they need, what they really need, what's going to happen. They're plagued by watching the news. They're plagued by watching TV. They're plagued by listening to music. They don't know if they're upside down. They feel upside down. So as soon as you start talking, they start moving. They can't sit still. Peace is something that is very, very hard to come by right now. And that is a threat to your offer and your presentation. And what's next? Saturation and fear. So if you're a coach, so is everybody and their mother. If you're a speaker, so is everybody and their mother. The market is saturated with people who just say, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm a that. There's no certification board where they have to go and get degrees and certifications to call themselves whatever they call themselves nowadays. Even somebody like myself, I got 2 master's degrees in executive coaching. I really am this. I really live this, but I'm surrounded by people who call themselves coaches who read a book. Right? So you have to really, really iterate your position effectively in a crowded market space. And you have to create a sub niche for yourself where you can exist in a red sea, in a blue sea as opposed to a red sea. So the further away you get into your niche market, the bluer your water will become, the less saturated that it will become. And then the last threat that I mentioned here is fear. People are scared to death. As soon as they part with the dollar, they quake and they shake and they shiver. As soon as people make a commitment or sign a dotted line, they wish they didn't. Everybody's head is thinking the worst case scenario. It's almost like a doomsday scenario that people are walking around with. Everybody's thinking, so entrepreneurs are optimists. Most people are pessimists. You see people driving in their car with their families 4 deep. Everybody got a mask on and goggles and visors. That's fear. That's fear. You're waking up in the same house with the same people. People go into bed with masks on. Next to each other in the bed, everybody got a mask on, waking up with the mask on the bed, on the pillow, and getting afraid and snatching it real quick and putting it back on. And you think they're going to just do business with you? Think again. You have to become a master of influence. You have to become a master of persuasion. You have to become a master of attention retention. And now you have to become a master of emotional management because people are scared to death. You have to give them security. Your package has to come with a security blanket. It has to be warm because warmth provides comfort. So as soon as you start talking about your program or your course or your package, it has to warm them now. You can't do cold business anymore, cold, hard business. The world has changed. We live in a different world. And that is a threat to people who are not able to adapt, are not able to be swift and changeable. Chances are you might not be remainable. Chances are you might have to go back to whatever you were doing and do more of it. And chances are this new world won't work for you. I just want you to be realistic and understand what it is exactly we're looking at. This is a different world. And you have to have a marketing strategy. And this is how it starts.